Former federal prosecutor Lise Wheel is a Fox News legal analyst. Chip Merlin is a criminal defense attorney. Lise, it's my understanding you're not impressed with what Jose Baez did this morning.
John, I got to tell you, I was confused at first because I was hearing it. I wasn't watching the screen, and I thought, why has the prosecution put George Anthony back on the stand? Voila, it's not the prosecution, it's the defense. I mean, it's just nuts.
Why?
I mean, why? Because you put him on to say, again, yes, that was a smell of a decomposing body. I've had 10 years in law enforcement. I know it was a smell of a decomposing body. Second, I know I would never touch my daughter that way, and then Baez tried to, well, not in that way, or you wouldn't have hurt her in that way. I mean, it looked horrible. He was badgering his own witness. You never do that. It's just criminal law 101.
All right, Chip, you're the defense attorney here. Was it a mistake to say, you would never admit to molesting your own daughter, would you, sir? That's the kind of questioning we heard from Jose Baez.
I tell you what, the problem with the defense team right now is somebody should have told them before they did the opening statement that if you lie, she might gonna die. Because that's exactly what's going on. They are losing credibility with the jury because all the factual allegations they made in the opening statement aren't proving true, and they're going through these outrageous allegations in front of the jury. It's almost embarrassing, and they better watch out. The best hope for her right now is that the federal court ruling yesterday that the death penalty is unconstitutional and the sentencing part is the only way that Casey Anthony might escape the death penalty.
But you realize that ruling as of last week, I looked at it, it's very narrow. It's not saying that the death penalty is unconstitutional in Florida. It's saying that the way that it's applied, that circumstances leave too much for the judge's discretion. It's a very, very narrow ruling.
Yeah, just so our viewers understand, Chip, that ruling came out of a Miami federal court. And some people have been saying, oh, well, Casey Anthony is in the middle of a death penalty trial and her jury has been death penalty qualified. This federal court ruling could kick that out.
Yeah, but it's going to be years before it does it. The Florida Supreme Court has upheld the procedure every single time, and that federal district court judge's ruling is not binding. It's first going to have to go to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. It could be years before that decision is going to be upheld or not.
All right, Chip Merlin and Lise Wheel, stick around with us if you would. Again, they are coming to the end of a 5-minute recess in the Casey Anthony trial. We'll be back with more coverage in just a bit. Fox News Alert testimony back underway in the Casey Anthony murder trial. Let's continue our coverage with Lise Wheel, former federal prosecutor, Fox News legal analyst as well. Chip Merlin, a criminal defense attorney. Chip, I wanted to ask you, did the defense get anywhere, do you think, with bringing Roy Kronk, the meter reader who ultimately discovered little Kaylee's body or skeleton? Did they get anywhere with his testimony?
They got nowhere. As a matter of fact, they went the other way. In the opening statement, they indicated he had this huge financial interest that was going to come out and be shown for him to have a motive to change or move the body. This guy was just an innocent bystander that happened to come across the body because Casey Anthony indicated that the body could be found possibly somewhere around the house. When he found it, he tried to talk the police to come out there, and they bumbled it and didn't get it right. It was his persistence that eventually found Kaylee Anthony. Why attack this innocent person? It makes the defense team look bad.
Lise, you agree?
Yeah, well, to a point. I mean, I do think they made some headway in the sense that they look, the cops, as you said, sort of bungled it. They didn't find the body as fast as they should have. There was some financial motivation, but they had built it up so much in the opening and all of this. It was going to be this big thing, and he turned out to be kind of maybe a creepy guy, and he went back there, and maybe he was looking for money and all of that in the press, and they kept hounding on that to the point where they pushed it too far, and then the jury, I think, kind of backs away from it and says, wait a second, you're pushing a point, you're trying to poke holes, and we're not seeing it.
But Chip, we've already been underway in this trial for quite a long time. I mean, does the jury remember what the defense team made, the argument that they made on, in opening arguments? Are they really going to hold them to all of those expectations?
All of my colleagues are hoping that the jury won't remember what was said in the opening statement, because it's going to come back and haunt them. That prosecution at the end is going to read each of those specific fact allegations, and it's going to damn Casey Anthony because all of it is not credible. Instead of doing what is normal and indicating that the state is not going to be able to prove its elements, and that is the state that's got to prove these specific facts, the criminal defense team in this case took it upon themselves to come up with some outrageous facts which are not proving true, and the jury's going to remember that.
All right, Lise, very quickly.
Yeah, criminal law 101 again here too is that when you're on either side, you play back your cards in an opening statement. You don't give them as much so that you can say to the jury at the end in closing, look, I promised you this, I gave you that, but then I gave you all of this other stuff. And the prosecution's going to say the defense gave you nothing that it promised.
Lise Wheel, that's why you went to law school. Lise and Chip, thank you both.